Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Janet, and I know I have been MIA for quite a while. I have just not been motivated to clean, to do anything. My energy level just got zapped. I've been sick, my daughter's been sick, and once I get to that point, a bit of depression sets in and everything kind of snowballs. So today's video is to be doing a cooking segment. I will be making some sweet and sour chicken skewers for dinner, and I wanted to show you how I do my homemade-ish sweet and sour chicken skewers. So stick with me and we'll get started. What we are doing tonight is I am making a sweet and sour chicken kebabs, and what you will need for that is, I like the Kikkoman sweet and sour, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to do this kind of as a homemade-ish. I have the ingredients, but since this is already here, and I thought that it would be more convenient. I'm also going to use some Dole pineapple chunks, half of an onion, and probably only half of this red bell pepper because it's a pretty big pepper. I also have these skewers that I've soaked in water, and one ginormous chicken breast. It's huge. So I'm going to get to cutting up and prepping all of this and take you along with me. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is the baking dish that I'm hoping to put everything into. So I'm gonna set it aside for now. And I'm going to get my cutting board set down. Now, I used this paper towel to dry out the dish that I had the skewer soaking in. So I am going to go ahead and put it down here underneath my cutting board, and that way my cutting board won't slip and slide. Okay, I'll have it just gives it a little bit of feet to hold on to something. So the first thing I'm going to start with, is a little garbage bowl here. I'm going to cut my bell pepper in half. And then I'm going to pull out the seeds. And I'm going to get rid of all these veins. Now normally I would be cutting this more in strips, but I want larger chunks for this particular meal. And I've already washed this, so I'm just going to kind of cut it into 3 sections. I like the red bell peppers for this recipe more. You can use the green, and I have green, but I like this one because it's a little bit sweeter and it just adds to the sweet and sour. Okay, so those are done. Now, I'm also only going to use probably, I don't even know if I'm going to use half of this onion, because I'm only going to be skewering part of it, but I'm going to cut it in half. And go ahead and pull skin off. There we go. Okay. And again, I'm going to do it in pretty big chunks. And we don't need a lot. We only need mostly a couple of the outer portions. So I don't know if you can hear, my dog is getting a drink, and it's getting to be about rush hour around here, so you might be hearing some traffic noise behind me. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is get big chicken breasts. Just keep on going right down the side here. I am getting a little chicken up here at the very top, but okay, I think that's a lot better. So I'm just going to go down the side here. Now this might even be too much for the amount that I want to cook tonight. Because I'm only planning on making 6 skewers. And I just gently take my knife through, back and forth, and then I'll make kind of bite-sized pieces. And if it's more than I need, then I'll go ahead and I'll bake up the rest of it so that I have it on hand for another recipe, because I can't refreeze this. This is really, really thick.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and speed the video up a little bit while I finish chopping up the chicken.
want to do a little bit of salt and pepper on these, just so we have some layers of flavor. I'm going to go ahead and get this open. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with my bell pepper. And then I'm going to take a piece of chicken. Now you want to be careful that you don't skewer yourself. Then I'm going to take a piece of pineapple and some of that onion. And another piece of chicken. Another piece of bell pepper. I might need to cut the rest of this up, but it's just me here at home tonight. So, onion, pineapple, chicken. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put it in my baking dish. So we'll do it again. I think this can be cut a little smaller.
At this point, I just decided that the chicken wasn't cut up quite small enough to satisfy my liking, so I'm just making a couple of adjustments. This meal turned out really yummy. If I would change anything, it would be that I would make a couple of skewers of chicken only, because my daughter likes the chicken more than the veg, and myself like the veg more than the chicken. So yeah, I would just go ahead and I would probably make a couple of skewers of just nothing but chicken. And she had recommended to me that I put on more of the sweet and sour sauce that you'll see here in a minute.
So it's going to take a little while for my oven to completely warm up, but I'm going to my little dog's out there whining. She wants to be let in. Okay, so now I'm just going to take and I'm going to pour right over each of the kabobs. And I didn't spray my dish. I'm probably going to regret that, but you know, if it, I'll soak it if it needs to soak. Well, that did not take long at all. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the oven at 375. I think I'm going to check it in 35 minutes.
I haven't been to the store lately, and I had this rice-a-roni in my pantry, so I'm just going to go ahead and fry it up and add some liquid and then cover it for 25 minutes until it's nice and fluffy, and it makes a beautiful accompaniment to the skewers. And I actually left the skewers in for, I believe, 45 minutes, and then I turned the oven off and even left them in for a little while the rice was finishing up, just so that they could stay nice and warm.
Okay, so here it is. Dinner is served, and the rice came out very nice and fluffy, and I think that the skewers look delicious. I'm really excited to try them, and I hope that you guys will try this just kind of homemade-ish recipe. It's not really a recipe, rather how to go about achieving it. And I am so glad to be back with you here on YouTube. I hope that you enjoy the recipe, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Anyway, have a great day all, and blessings to each and every one of you.